I previously tested the socket style rounded nut extractors, but what about the wrench style, which allows you to work in a much tighter space? We have a bunch of different brands, with the least expensive brand only costing $14 and the most expensive brand $469. In the first test, we'll see which wrench performs the best on undamaged bolts. Then we'll see how they perform on partially and completely rounded bolts. Finally, we'll see which wrenches are the most durable. At a price of $14, the least expensive brand we'll be testing is made by Irwin. Curved jaw delivers maximum gripping power and won't slip or strip any style of nut or bolt. Built-in wire cutter to avoid having to switch tools. The locking wrench is 7 inches in length. The Irwin vice grip is made in Taiwan. If the fastener is in a tight spot, the size of the tool is a factor to consider. With a 7/16" bolt in the jaws, the vice grip needs a lot of real estate at 1.87 inches across. Some of the tools we'll be testing claim to be designed for both rounded and undamaged bolts. So let's see how much damage is caused by using each of the wrenches on an undamaged 7/16" grade 8 fine thread bolt torqued to 78 foot-pounds. We'll also see how they perform on a partially and fully rounded bolt. And the vice grips loosen the undamaged bolt without slipping. Unfortunately, the vice grips did cause a small amount of damage to the previously undamaged bolt. And the vice grips lost grip on the partially rounded bolt at 62 foot-pounds. A close look and the jaws actually stretch as they lose grip. 20 foot-pounds on the completely rounded bolt. At a price of $15 is this locking adjustable wrench that's made by Stanley. The wrench is 10 inches or 250 millimeters in length. Stanley claims that this wrench will allow for a tight grip on rounded fasteners to prevent the wrench from slipping off during use. Fits fasteners up to 1.25 inches in diameter. The Stanley is made in China. 2.03 inches for the locking adjustable wrench. And the locking adjustable wrench made easy work of the undamaged nut. As the bolt reaches loosening torque, the wrench jaw stretched enough to cause damage to the corner of the bolt. And the locking adjustable wrench lost grip on the partially rounded bolt at 43 foot-pounds, or about 19 foot-pounds less than the vice grips. And there's a small amount of damage to the wrench. And it made it to 16 foot-pounds on the completely rounded bolt. At a price of $16 is this universal socket. The manufacturer claims that this one tool can replace the whole set. Fits fastener sizes 1/4 inch to 3/4 or 7 to 19 millimeters. It even comes with a power drill adapter. The universal socket is made in China. And the universal socket has the smallest diameter at 1.02 inches. And the universal socket successfully loosened the undamaged bolt, but the steel pins in the socket caused minor damage to the bolt. And the universal socket gave up early on the partially rounded bolt at only 9 foot-pounds. At a price of $23 is this Maxpower brand Swedish pipe wrench. Maximum jaw opening is 1 9/16 or 40 millimeters. The wrench is 12 inches in length. It has a knurled steel adjustment nut. The Maxpower is made in China. And a pipe wrench uses the most amount of space yet at 2.3 inches. And a pipe wrench has very aggressive teeth and cause a lot of damage to the bolt. The teeth on the pipe wrench also experience some damage. And a pipe wrench is the first tool in the lineup to loosen the partially rounded bolt. And a pipe wrench is also the first tool in the lineup to successfully remove the completely rounded bolt. At a price of $24 is this Duratech Universal Wrench set. The wrenches work with SAE or metric. Fit sizes 5 to 27 millimeters or 3/16 to 1 inch and 11/16. The manufacturer claims that the wrench set works very well with rounded fasteners. The Duratech is made in China. 1.65 inches for the Duratech. And the Duratech is able to loosen the undamaged bolt without a problem. However, the jaws on the Duratech do appear to be pretty soft, and there's quite a bit of damage to the jaws. There's also some very minor damage to the bolt. And the Duratech lost grip on the partially rounded bolt at 33 foot-pounds. At a price of $30 is this Crescent brand. It claims to fit 6 different fastener types, including hex, square, 12-point, E-Torx, partially rounded, and spline. The ratcheting end of the open wrench allows you to remove and apply nuts and bolts without removing the wrench. The Crescent brand is made in China. 0.987 inches for the closed end and 1.36 for the opened end. And the Crescent made easy work of loosening the undamaged bolt, but the Crescent wasn't able to gain any traction on the partially rounded bolt. At a price of $33 is this Bionic Wrench as seen on TV. The 6 jaws slide towards the center and lock onto the head of the nut or bolt. It claims to offer 14 wrenches in one. Fit sizes 7/16 to 3/4 or 11 millimeters to 20. The Bionic Wrench is made in USA. Very close to 2 inches for the Bionic Wrench. And the Bionic Wrench will definitely get the job done if you have a Bionic grip. I gave the Bionic Wrench my best grip on the partially rounded nut and made it to 32 foot-pounds before losing grip. Unfortunately, the Bionic Wrench did experience some minor damage. At a price of $39 is this Magic Wrench brand. It's a multi-purpose self-adjust double heads ratcheting all-in-one wrench. Fit sizes 9 to 45 millimeters. It claims it can remove nuts and bolts that have been completely stripped. The Magic Wrench is made in Korea. 2.31 inches for the Magic Wrench. And I wasn't able to work any magic on the undamaged bolt, and the Magic Wrench lost grip at 48 foot-pounds. However, the Magic Wrench did mangle the previously undamaged bolt head. At a price of $40 for 6 wrenches, or about $6.67 per wrench, is this griptite brand. The open end of the wrench looks like a standard wrench. They claim that the wrenches can grip even rounded bolts. Some of the wrenches work with both SAE and metric. They claim that the more torque you apply, the harder the cams grip. There's no information on the packaging regarding where the griptite wrenches are manufactured. 1.1 inches for the closed end and 1.37 for for the opened end. And the griptite made very easy work of the first bolt, and it does seem to offer a very tight grip as the name implies. Unfortunately, the griptite lost grip on the partially rounded bolt at 55 foot-pounds, which is just a little better than average. However, the closed end of the griptite experienced 2 broken teeth and the wrench is now ruined. At a price of $64 is this Olsa Tools Bolt Extractor Offset Wrench Set. 6 wrenches fit 12 sizes from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch. It's a regular set of closed-end wrenches, but it has an innovative design that helps extract damaged nuts and bolts. The Olsa Tools is made in Taiwan. 0.94 inches is the most compact closed end yet. And the Olsa Extractor wrench easily removed the undamaged bolt. And the bolt looks almost as good as new with a small amount of damage to one of the corners. And the Olsa Tools has more than enough grip to remove the badly rounded fastener, and the wrench just couldn't gain a good grip on the completely rounded bolt. We previously tested the Rocket Socket brand, so let's test them again against these wrenches. Works with fasteners 1/4 to 3/4 inch or 6 to 19 millimeters. The Rocket Socket is made in USA, and the Rocket Socket is even more compact than the Olsa at 0.89 inches. And the Rocket Socket is designed to remove rounded bolts, and it did just fine on the undamaged bolt. As expected, the Rocket Socket did cause some damage to the bolt. After a few light taps with the hammer, the Rocket Socket made easy work of the partially rounded bolt, and the Rocket Socket maintained a good grip on the fully rounded bolt, and the bolt finally loosened at just over 56 foot-pounds. At a price of $90 or just over $3 per wrench is this GearWrench brand. Nothing fancy about the closed end of the GearWrench, it's just a 6-point combination wrench. We'll see how the GearWrench performs against some of the other styles of wrenches. They claim that their off-corner loading reduces fastener rounding. The GearWrench wrenches are made in China. 0.95 inches for the closed end and 1.28 inches for the opened end is the most compact yet. And a 6-point GearWrench has more than enough grip to loosen the undamaged fastener, and the bolt still looks as good as new. And the GearWrench repositioned itself to take advantage of the flat areas on the partially rounded bolt. And the GearWrench just wasn't able to gain any traction on the completely rounded bolt. At a price of $98 for 8 wrenches or $12.25 each is this Capri Tools brand. Capri Tools claims that their wrenches remove strip bolts up to 90% rounded. Sizes 5/16 to 3/4 of an inch. 40% longer handle for added leverage. The wrenches are made in Taiwan. 0.98 inches for the closed end and 1.37 for the open end. And the Capri Tools maintain very good grip on the undamaged fastener. However, the wrench does apply a lot of pressure away from the corners, which causes damage to the bolt. A close look at the wrench, and it appears that the chrome plating on the wrench is crumbling. And the Capri Tools found plenty of grip on the partially rounded bolt, and the bolt loosened at 61 foot-pounds. Not enough surface area on the completely rounded bolt. At a price of $153 for 19 wrenches, or just over $8 each, is this MichealPro brand. It claims to be a bolt extractor set wrench and cushion grip socket set. Acts as a regular box end as well as an extractor wrench. They claim that their 6-point and 3-cornered box end design shields fasteners from damage under high torque situations. Grip sockets have patented cushions that prevent fasteners from damage. Include sizes 6 to 19 millimeters and 1/4 to 3/4 inches. The MichealPro is made in Taiwan. 0.927 inches for the MichealPro is the second most compact wrench yet. And the MichealPro looks a lot like the Capri Tools, and it performed like it too, making easy work of the undamaged bolt. However, the MichealPro did hold up a lot better without any visible damage to the wrench. And the MichealPro has more than enough surface area to work with, and the partially rounded bolt began moving at 62 foot-pounds. And there's not enough surface area on the completely rounded bolt. At a price of $190 for 14 wrenches or $13.57 each is this metrinch brand. It claims to be equivalent to a 41-piece conventional set. They claim these wrenches handle standard, metric, and even ones with rounded and worn edges. Sizes from 8 to 22 millimeters or 5/16 to 7/8 of an inch. The metrinch is made in Taiwan. And the metrinch is pretty bulky at 1.05 inches for the closed end and 1.41 for the opened end. And the metrinch performed just fine loosening the undamaged bolt. However, the wrench does have a lot of taper, and the spline apply pressure to only about 70% of the bolt head. And a partially rounded bolt began loosening at 67 foot-pounds. And there's just not enough surface area for the rounded bolt. And the most expensive brand we'll be testing at an eye-watering price of $469 for just 7 wrenches or $67 each is made by Snap-on. Snap-on claims that their Flank Drive Plus wrenching on open end provides up to 62% more turning power and strength. Snap-on does not claim that these wrenches are specifically designed for rounded fasteners, but have had a lot of people request that I test them. They claim that their box end provides up to 15 to 20% more turning power. The Snap-on wrenches are made in USA. 0.92 inches for the closed end and 1.28 for the opened end is very well designed for tight spaces. And the Snap-on made very easy work of the undamaged bolt, and the bolt began loosening at 63 foot-pounds. The Snap-on wrench provides more than enough contact area to avoid causing any damage to the bolt. And the Snap-on just wasn't able to get a grip on the partially rounded bolt. No visible wear and tear with the Snap-on. So all of the tools were able to loosen the undamaged bolt except for the magic wrench. Tool design can definitely have an impact on the durability of fasteners. While assessing damage is highly subjective, the GearWrench and the Snap-on cause the least amount of damage to the bolt with the best possible rating of 1. The number 78 on the chart indicates that the bolts were loosened. Only 7 of the 16 brands were able to loosen the partially rounded bolt. For the completely rounded bolts, only the pipe wrench and the rocket socket were able to loosen the bolt. Let's test the open end of the wrenches for maximum torque next using the same grade 8 bolts. With 3 points of contact, the vice grips perform very well at 100 foot-pounds. And the vice grips also perform very well on the partially rounded bolt at 49 foot-pounds. However, the vice grips did experience some damage. Adjustable wrenches have a well-deserved bad reputation for rounding nuts and bolts, but the locking design is really helping the Stanley. And 83 foot-pounds is pretty respectable. And the adjustable wrench performed fairly well on the partially rounded bolt at 41 foot-pounds. However, the adjustable wrench did experience some damage during the test. Just like the vice grips and the locking adjustable wrench, the pipe wrench is very large and not well designed for tight spaces. However, 99 foot-pounds is almost as good as the vice grips. And the pipe wrench performed just as well on the partially rounded bolt at 99 foot-pounds. And the teeth on the pipe wrench did experience quite a bit of wear and tear. Having a moving part on the jaws of a wrench seems like a problem waiting for a place to happen. And the Crescent made it to 93 foot-pounds when the wrench let go. And the moving part on the Crescent wrench broke and the open end wrench is now ruined. And the griptite performed well, making it to 75 foot-pounds on the undamaged bolt before losing grip. Unfortunately, the griptite will never perform as well again since it experienced damage from the bolt. And the griptite just didn't grip very well on the partially rounded bolt at only 15 foot-pounds. And the GearWrench performed almost as well as the griptite, making it to 73 foot-pounds before rounding the bolt. However, there's no visible damage to the GearWrench, which should help it on the partially rounded bolt. And the GearWrench performed quite a bit better on the partially rounded bolt at 23 foot-pounds to move into the lead. And the Capri tools performed the same as the GearWrench at 73 foot-pounds on the undamaged bolt. However, the high torque load did come at a cost with some damage to the wrench. And the Capri tools gave up early on the partially rounded bolt at only 9 foot-pounds. And the metrinch performed far better than anticipated, making it to 88 foot-pounds before giving up. However, the high torque load did come at a cost with some damage to the wrench. And the metrinch performed about average on the partially rounded bolt at 15 foot-pounds. And the Snap-on brand claims that the open-end design of their wrench gives it an advantage over the competition. Of all the combination-style wrenches, the Snap-on performed by far the best yet with a very impressive 97 foot-pounds before rounding the bolt. And the Snap-on held up very well with a small amount of wear and tear to the wrench. And the Snap-on made it to 16 foot-pounds before slipping on the partially rounded bolt. Looking at just the open-end wrench performance, the vice grips came out on top at 100 foot-pounds, but the pipe wrench finished in a close second at 99. If you need a much more compact tool, the Snap-on performed almost as well at 97 foot-pounds. If you're dealing with a partially rounded fastener, an open-faced wrench is at a huge disadvantage, and the pipe wrench came out on top at 99 foot-pounds. The locking pliers finished in second at 49, and the adjustable wrench 41 foot-pounds. Up next, let's compare the tools that make contact with all 6 sides of the fastener. And the Universal Socket made it to 80 foot-pounds before slipping, or 20 foot-pounds less than the vice grips. And the Universal Socket made it to 46 foot-pounds on a partially rounded bolt. However, some of the steel pins experienced some damage. And the Duratech makes contact with 4 sides of the bolt. And the Duratech performed well at 108 foot-pounds before losing grip. The Duratech previously lost grip on the partially rounded bolt at only 33 foot-pounds. Durability seems to be an issue with the Duratech, and it's pretty soft and experienced quite a bit of damage. And the Crescent is the first wrench to outlast the bolt, making it to 151 foot-pounds. And the bolt is just stretching, so I'll go ahead and stop the test. And the Crescent just isn't able to gain grip on the partially rounded bolt. Once again, durability seems to be an issue with the Crescent, as it did experience quite a bit of wear and tear. Since I don't have Bionic hands, I placed a hose clamp on the Bionic wrench to maintain a firm grip. Unfortunately, the Bionic wrench experienced a Bionic blowout and lost 2 teeth. We'll go ahead and skip the griptite since it's already experienced pretty bad damage. And the Olsa tools has a 45-degree offset, which makes it challenging to keep the wrench fully seated on the bolt. The wrench has a tendency to want to roll to its side when applying a lot of torque. And the Olsa tools made it to 103 foot-pounds before the wrench rolled to the side and lost grip. And the Olsa tools actually performed better on the partially rounded bolt and maintained a much better grip on the bolt head. And the wrench outlasted the bolt, but the Olsa tools did experience some minor damage to the teeth. We'll skip the rocket socket since it's only designed to work in a counterclockwise direction. And the 6-point GearWrench has a lot of taper, which really hurts its potential. And the GearWrench came off the bolt at 111 foot-pounds. And the GearWrench made it to 49 foot-pounds on the partially rounded bolt. The GearWrench did experience a small amount of wear and tear. And the Capri uses a lot less offset than the Olsa tools, and that really helped its performance. And the Capri tools made it to 137 foot-pounds before the bolt began to stretch. And the Capri tools performed very well on the damaged fastener, and it outlasted the partially rounded bolt. The wrench did experience some minor damage. Just like the Olsa tools, the MichealPro has a 45-degree offset. And the offset really hurt the performance of the wrench, and it rolled to the side after reaching 94 foot-pounds, just like the Olsa tools. However, just like the Olsa tools, the MichealPro also outlasted the partially rounded bolt. The wrench did experience some minor damage. And the metrinch offers a very loose loose fit on the undamaged fastener. And the loose fit really hurt the performance of the wrench, and it rounded the bolt at 89 foot-pounds. And the MetWrench performed about average on the partially rounded bolt at 52 foot-pounds. And the MetWrench held up very well with very little wear and tear. And the snap-on is designed specifically for undamaged bolts, and it outlasted the bolt at 122 foot-pounds. And the snap-on just isn't able to gain a grip on the partially rounded bolt. And the snap-on is still in really good condition. On an undamaged bolt, the Crescent, Capri tools, and snap-on are the only 3 wrenches that outlasted the bolt. However, the Olsa and the MichealPro seem capable of performing better without the 45 degrees of offset. On the partially rounded bolt, the Olsa, Capri tools, and the MichealPro are the only 3 wrenches to outlast the bolt. So the Capri tools is the only wrench in this category to outlast the undamaged and the partially damaged bolt. Assessing tool durability is highly subjective, but the rocket socket, GearWrench, and snap-on seem to have experienced the least amount of wear and tear. If you're working in a tight space, tool size is a factor to consider, and the GearWrench and snap-on have the smallest footprint on the open side of the tool. For the closed end of the tool, the rocket socket has the smallest diameter. However, the snap-on, MichealPro, Olsa, and GearWrench aren't too far behind. And I've always wanted to see what's inside of a universal socket, so let's go ahead and smash it and take a look inside. And it's a pretty simple setup with spring-loaded steel pins. For the wrenches designed specifically for damaged nuts and bolts, I really like the Capri tools the best. When you consider the price and the performance, it seems like a great choice. All the videos in this channel, including this one, are viewer suggested. So if you have a video idea, I hope you'll take time to leave a comment. Thanks so much for watching. Please take care, and I look forward to next time.